How's your day? I hope you are fine. So today is a little bit different from usual. I try to take another strategy of learning. The strategy is I will read text here from Alice in Wonderland novel and put some music here. And after that, I will try to read again the text, but with no intonation and no music. So we'll see what's the difference here. So let's get started. Um, put some music here. Okay, let's start. After a time, she heard a little pattering of feet in the distance, and she hastily tried her eyes to see what was coming. It was a white rabbit returning, splendidly dressed with a white pair of kid gloves in one hand, a large fan in the other hand. He came trotting along with great hurry, muttering to himself as he came. "Oh, the Duchess! The Duchess! Oh, won't be she savage if I keep her waiting!" Alice felt so desperate that she was ready to ask help for anyone. So, when the rabbit came near her, she began in a low, timid voice, "If you please, sir." The rabbit started violently, dropped the white kid clothes in the van, and screamed away into the darkness as hard as the wolf could. Alice took up the fan and clothes, and as the hall was very hot, she kept fanning herself all the time she went on talking. "Dear, dear, how queer everything is today! And yesterday things was just usual. I wonder if I've been changed in the night. Let me think. I ain't the same when I got up this morning. I almost think I can remember feeling a little different, but I'm not the same. The next question is, who in the world am I? Ah, that's a great puzzle." And she began thinking over all children who were of the same age as herself, to see if she could have been changed for any of them. "I'm sure I'm not Ada," she said, "for her hair goes such a long wrinkles, and mine doesn't go in wrinkles at all. And I'm sure I can be a Mabel, for I know all sorts of things, and she knows such very little beside. She is she, and I am I, and oh dear, how puzzling is all. I'll try to if I know all the things I used to know. Let me see. 4 times 5 is 12, and 4 times 6 is 13, and 4 times 7 is, oh dear, I shall never forget the 20 at the rate. However, the multiplication table doesn't signify. Let's try geography. London is the capital of Paris, and Paris is the capital of Rome. And Rome, no, that's all wrong. I certain I must have been changed for a Mabel. I'll try and take how thought the little, and she crossed her hand on her lap as if she were saying listen, and began to repeat it, but her voice sounded hoarse and strange, and the words did not come, at the same as they used to do. How thought a little crocodile improved his shiny tail, and poured a little water in the of the nail. or every golden scale. How cheerful he seemed to grin, how nearly special great call, and welcome little faces with gently smiling jaw. I will all try to read with less information and no music. Let's try it. After time of she heard a little pattering of it in the distance, and she hastily tried her eyes to see what was coming. It was White Rabbit returning splendidly, dressed with a pair of white kid gloves in hand and a large fan in others. He came trotting along in a great hurry, smiling herself as he came. Oh, the Duchess! The Duchess! Oh, won't she begin to be savage if I keep her waiting? Alice felt so desperate that she was ready to ask help anyone. So, when the rabbit came near her, she began in a low, timid voice, "If you please, sir." The rabbit finally dropped the white kid gloves in the fan and scurried away with the darkness as hard as he could go. Alice took a fan and go, and as the hall was very hot, she kept fanning herself all the time she went on to take it. Dear, dear, how queer everything's today, and yesterday things on just the usual. I wonder if I've been changed in the night. Let me think. I just the same when I was called up this morning. I almost think I can remember feeling a little bit different. But if I'm not the same, the next question is, who in the world am I? Ah, that's a great puzzle. And she began thinking of her own children she knew that were of the same age as herself, to see if she could have been changed from any of them. I'm sure I'm not Ada, she said, for her hair goes such a long ringless and mine doesn't go to ringless at all. And I'm sure I can't be Mabel, for I know short things, and she knows such a very little. Besides, she is she, and I am I. Oh dear, how puzzling it all is. I'll try to if I know all the things I used to know. Let me see. 4 times 5 is 12, and 4 times 6 is 30, and 4 times 7 is, oh dear, I shall never forget 20 at that rate. However, the multiplication doesn't signify. Let's try geography. London is the capital of Paris, and Paris is the capital of Rome, and Rome, no, that's all wrong. I'm certain. I must have been changed for a Maple. I'll try to say how doth the lil, and she closed her hand and her lap as if she were saying listen, and began to repeat it, but her voice sudden and hoarse strained, and the words didn't come the same they used to do. How doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail, and pour the water of Nile on every golden scale? How cheerful he seemed to grin, how neatly spread his claw, and welcome little fish with gently smiling jaw. Okay, guys. Maybe you should try that. And what do you think about the difference? Then feels like more comfortable with some intonation and some music, or just the flat one. So you can try it. Then tell me What the what is the difference here?
Okay, hi, I'm Elsa. I'm going to tell you about my opinion. So, the first is great story usually progresses towards a central moral or message. If the story has a strong moral component, you will want to guide listeners or readers to that message. Try to increase the dramatic tension and suspense until the climax. It's important to be very clear on the central theme or plot point. And don't forget to try to connect with the audience. Play around with bringing your gaze off the page every so often to make eye contact with audience and make sure to consider your audience. Many people have a tendency to include every detail and end up inundating the audience with facts that dilutes the central story. And the last one is such expressive qualities may have an especially strong impact during storytelling activities. For example, if a potentially engaging story is read with a flat delivery, the audience might find it anomalous or even offensive. So that's all. Thank you.
For understanding, I personally prefer text to be read with music and intonation because it's a literary text, and these two things, music and intonation, add beauty to the literary text and make it more interesting to listen to. And when the students are interested to the text, they will listen carefully to it and easily to understand the text. While literary text read with flat intonation will make the text more boring and might make the students not listen to what the teacher is reading.
I think the intonation one is better to use because when you read it, it's more interesting, beautiful, and pleasant to hear. I think the flat one is a little poor to be here, and sometimes I'm not interested to hear it because it's poor. Meanwhile, with the intonation, I become more enthusiastic to listen to it, and coupled with the music, it makes it exciting to listen to it, and I'm not bored because it's beautiful.
From my opinion, in reading a story, moreover, we read the story in front of many people, and certainly most of them are children, where the children's mood will change more quickly. Therefore, we must read it well, clearly, and interesting. And for this reason, I think it will be better if you read the story using intonation and read expressively, or perhaps for the better support of the story atmosphere, we can play music so that the atmosphere of the story more carried away. And children will be happier listening to our story that we have bring it. And if it's flat, the story will be less pleasant to hear, and those who listen to our story will be bored. Reading expressively and adding music will make people interesting and also excited to hear our story. So I prefer read in a toned or expressive way. Thank you.
Intonation needs to be considered in reading poetry and used according to the character of the words in the poem so that there is dynamic tone that is pleasant to hear, not boring, and does not sound flat.
Okay, I'd like to choose the second video because I personally can hear the voice of reader more clearly without distraction, which is the background. My focus is not divided into two because I have to listen to material rather than the background. The first reason, lightning element of rhythm in the recitation of a poem can be interpreted as considering the processing of high-low tone and a length of short tones. Regarding in rhythm, a poetry reader must be aware of the strength of his breath and the range of his vocals. And then I can catch his expression when he reading the poetry because facial expression and gesture are related. And also, the volume of his voice when he reading can reach all listener does not seem forced, clear, and steady. So, good tones of voice in the reading poetry must include proper pronunciation and intonation. Correct pronunciation and intonation are also related to how a person feels when reading poetry. The clarity of voice when reading poetry is also related to how the reader decodes between words, phrase, and the term of accuracy. That's all. Thank you.